Story 1. To eat slowly and enjoy my meal. I came from a household where if you didn't eat quickly, someone else would. Story 2. Check washing instructions before doing laundry. However, this completely backfired on me because now I do all the laundry. Story 3. How to cook and season food. She was horrified when I told her I don't like chicken noodle soup because we always have it warmed up straight from the can. Then she made me homemade soup also using the can, and it felt like being sick was worth it just to taste that soup. Story 4. It is important not to accept the lowest quality in anything. She encourages me to buy better clothing or a nicer computer, not because material possessions are essential, but because I should feel that I deserve them. I believe many men lack a voice that reminds them they deserve good things in their lives. Story 5. A few really magical insights come to mind. 1. Most people aren't rude. They're probably just shy. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Putting your own needs at the bottom of the list is unhealthy. One girlfriend explained to me at age 19 that she had to learn to accept that during puberty her body was changing. It was as though guys just got bigger, but a girl's body changes in a profound way. I always thought about that whenever I was intimate with another woman's body. Their bodies can change from one week to the next. One girlfriend said something funny one night. We were back at my place after a long day, and I was really tired. I explained that I was exhausted and couldn't do much to make the night fun. She said it was okay. It's not as though I am a clown and have to keep her entertained. Story 6. How to buy clothes. It may seem minor, but I used to choose the first items that fit well enough. When shopping with her, she taught me to wait until I found something that fit perfectly and that I truly loved. Now, shopping with her takes an extra hour or so, but I get items that I enjoy wearing instead of those that are just good enough. Story 7. She taught me how to cook better. I could always cook for myself before, but she introduced me to a greater variety of ingredients. It truly expanded my culinary experience. Story 8. I taught my boyfriend to place a dryer sheet at the bottom of the trash can under the bag. He was amazed that the garbage no longer smelled, and now he does it regularly in every trash can at his home. Story 9. She taught me how to crack multiple eggs. You hold one egg in each hand and tap them together until one of the shells cracks. The egg that remains intact has won the battle and gets to challenge a new egg. This method makes baking much more enjoyable. Story 10. When my husband and I were still dating, he first found out that I use a straight razor on my legs. His reaction was to immediately ask me to shave his face, as if it were the best idea in the world. He wouldn't take no for an answer. It wasn't long before he had his own straight razor and maintenance kit, and now he handles it like a master. Story 11. How to make a grilled cheese sandwich. My ex-wife asked me to make her one once. She watched in horror as I took 2 pieces of bread, placed cheese in the middle, and then used the microwave. Story 12. Give them time. It's never enough, but allow the two of you as much time as possible, whenever possible. Story 13. To pause and think logically before reacting impulsively. I am still working on it, but she has likely saved me from numerous uncomfortable moments due to my temper. She is incredible. Story 14. To dry my feet and legs before getting out of the shower and to lower the toilet seat after I used it. She tricked me by raising it back up after she visited my house and explained, "This is a guy's house, so I'll raise it back up where it goes after I'm done." I automatically started lowering it when I was at her house, as if some serious reverse psychology was at play. Even my probation officer said, "I've heard you've become quite domesticated." Story 15. How to budget my money. Before my partner, I was awful with finances and money really did burn a hole in my pocket. However, she has taught me the importance of having savings. Story 16. You can use your feet like heat sink radiators by sleeping with them outside the sheets. It helps stabilize my body temperature on those in-between nights when I'm unsure whether I'll be too hot or too cold. Story 17. She taught me to negotiate effectively, even for small matters. She used to say that it is all practice that will pay off later. This has helped me in all my business dealings. Story 18. My wife has taught me that there are times she needs me to be her husband and partner. There are other times she needs me to be her friend. One role requires me to listen and offer advice so we can work through things together. The other role is simply to listen and respond with, "You're not the problem. She's the problem." Story 19. The value of holding my tongue, even if it is important enough to say, is that it does not need to be expressed in the heat of the moment. Story 20. She taught me to assume the best outcome in any situation, even in challenging ones. This approach helps alleviate anxiety and fosters a sense of calm that keeps me focused and grounded. I observed her practice this for years, but it didn't truly resonate with me until I was in my 30s. The rim could fly off the car while we're driving, yet she would confidently believe we would crash into soft snow without any injuries or pain. It's a wonderful perspective. Story 21. Where we live in the summer, you can hold your hand up to the horizon and count how many full hands stacked before reaching the sun. Each hand represents approximately 1 hour until the sun sets, and each finger represents around 15 minutes. It's not exact, but it's very close. I taught this to my husband when we first met, and he thought it was a bit crazy. Now I see him doing it quite frequently. Story 22. 30 years ago, it got me brushing my teeth in the shower. It was a game changer. I will never go back to the sink again. Story 23. When shopping for meat, use meat bags to grab the meat. Start with your hand all the way inside the bag. Grab the meat and pull the bag over it. This way, you will avoid touching it directly, reducing contact with any raw meat or blood in the packaging. If you are not concerned about that, you can pick it up with your bare hand. Story 24. When dealing with a child, giving them a little control in decision-making makes it easier to manage them when they resist doing things. This has helped me as a parent and even more so as a doctor for children. My wife is a genius. Story 25. How to braid hair. I grew up in a household with all boys except for my mom, who had the curliest hair ever and kept it short. My hair is curly as well, but I also keep it short. Long, straight hair, which my mom has, was a complete mystery to me before. Now, I consider myself an expert. Story 26. Technically an ex-girlfriend, but she taught me a trick to close chip bags almost airtight without using any clips. It's a bit hard to explain, but you use the air pressure of the bag to keep its own fold pressed closed. Story 27. A pile of clothes in the corner of the room is not acceptable. There is something called a hamper. Story 28. When shaving, run the razor in reverse across your skin. This technique clears the hair without the need for constant rinsing. Story 29. She taught me that I am the luckiest person in the world to have met her, and that every day is easier when I have her. Story 30. If I turn the duvet cover inside out, insert my hands into the corners, and then grab the corners of the duvet to pull it through, it is much easier than trying to shove a duvet into a case. Story 31. That I am lovable, valued, and valuable even when I am not providing a service. She taught me this through the absence created when she left, and I realized I had friends, family, and hobbies that fulfilled me. I found that I was happier in the company of books and music than alone with her. Story 32. It's better to listen fully instead of jumping in with advice right away. Honestly, it even improved our relationship. Story 33. According to my partner, we should appreciate the little things. Sunsets, a fire on a cold day, and a tasty homemade meal. Story 34. Don't ask your child what they want for a snack. Just put something in front of them. That's all there is to it. Story 35. To check before making a purchase and to save money. It has reduced our spending and helped us save a significant amount in no time. Story 36. If you cannot reverse or change it, regretting is a decision and a waste of time. Learn from it if you can and move on. Story 37. She taught me not to assume things will go smoothly. Leave early, take an umbrella, and agree on a place to meet if the cell phone isn't working. Have a backup plan, basically. Story 38. A girl I dated in high school asked to hold me while I used the restroom. I let her. When I finished, she asked if I didn't wipe or anything. I told her no. Then she tore off 2 squares of toilet paper and awkwardly patted the tip. It absorbed the annoying leftover drops we all try to squeeze out. I have been patting the tip with toilet paper ever since. We didn't date for long or seriously, but she completely changed my life with that one moment. I never forgot her because of this. I thought about searching for her on social media to thank her, but that would be strange. Story 39. I sent this post to my husband of 15 years with the comment, "I'm kinda curious." His response was, "Honestly, I don't have to apologize for existing." His parents were not easy on him during his youth and always favored his sisters. He even mentioned getting grounded once for breathing too loudly. This was the best and saddest compliment from my love ever. Story 40. Remember to smile before you leave the house. This invaluable advice helps me manage any negative energy I may be carrying before interacting with others throughout my day. Story 41. When she's talking to me, she doesn't want my opinion or a sincere response. All she wants is for me to nod my head and agree with her. Story 42. She taught me to be more decisive. She definitely needs leadership because she is very trait neurotic. In contrast, I have always been carefree and unbothered, so I rarely had strong opinions about things in general. I am very analytical, and problem-solving comes easily to me. Being able to express an opinion and follow through has actually helped me a lot at work. Story 43. She taught me to love, care, and see others in a different way than I had before. My background story is not bad, but it has its challenges. Over the years, I have struggled with anger, trust, and mental health issues. I can't explain how it's possible, but with her, I finally feel like I am seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. She is my complete opposite, and in a few months, I plan to ask her to marry me. Story 44. Use your tongue and 2 fingers. Curl your fingers back toward you and feel around until you find a spongy mound. Massage it with your fingers while working your tongue. She had a previous same-sex relationship, but I have received a lot of appreciation for knowing the technique. Story 45. I learned that women often share their problems without expecting solutions. If I tried to fix things, it would lead to frustration. They don't want everything or anything to be solved. Story 46. How to downshift an automatic transmission to slow down while going downhill without riding the brakes. Story 47. It's a small detail, but folding socks makes a difference. I've been living alone for 2.5 years, and I can put away clothes neatly since I enjoy long-sleeve dress shirts. However, I always just stuffed one sock into the other and created a ball. I recently discovered that you can actually pair them together and fold them neatly. She was surprised and laughed that I didn't know this. I was also surprised because it never occurred to me to fold socks this way. Now I can store them in a much more organized manner. Story 48. When cleaning, always start with the highest areas and then work your way down. Cabinets, countertops, and then the floor because dust falls down. Similarly, wash your hair first, then your body. Story 49. My husband had no idea you could flip the shower curtain rod over when it starts getting rusty on one side. We have been married for 6 years, and he still tells everyone about this life-changing tip I showed him. Story 50. Sushi. My wife introduced me to sushi and stood by my side while I learned to cook step by step. Now I own Pasta Night. My parents taught me how to cook noodles and grilled cheese sandwiches. Story 51. I taught my fiancé how to tank in games. It is my proudest accomplishment. He could manage well enough, but he said he didn't understand the team mindset until we tanked together. I'm currently teaching him Balatro, as he doesn't have much experience with poker. I used to be much worse at strategy games. I would buy him the games I was playing, and he would learn them by himself and then teach me. So we teach each other a lot about games. Story 52. It is easier to add a little flour to a dough that is too wet than to add a little water to a dough that is too dry. This principle applies to both dough and cement or concrete. Story 53. To calculate a 20% tip, double the first digit of the total. If the total is over $100, double the first 2 digits. Story 54. I have a special advantage called white male privilege. I had no idea it existed until she told me about it. Story 55. When she is venting, do not immediately offer solutions. Just listen and express empathy. I do not vent like that personally. When I express a challenge to someone else, I am usually looking for guidance. Being mindful like this has improved my interactions with many other people. Story 56. Pack sandwiches before a long drive. I always used to grab something on the road and complain about it. Having a tasty, healthy wrap or sandwich feels better and saves time. Story 57. She taught me how to be a man. When someone is depending on your abilities and helps you get up when you're down, you start taking on life and winning. Story 58. To give strangers the time of day to talk or chat with. I found myself in a situation while waiting for a child's ball game. I had asked her to hurry, so we wouldn't be late and not to talk to anyone, while she quickly stepped into the grocery store for a few items. Sure enough, as she walked out, an older gentleman stopped her, and they had a 3 to 4 minute conversation. I felt upset and asked her why she had to stop when I specifically requested her not to. Her reply was that for whatever reason, he felt he had only her to talk to at that particular moment about his wife, who was struggling with her health. She wasn't going to pretend she didn't care so I wouldn't miss part of the game. Perspective. Story 59. How to fold socks. I would just bundle them with the feet hanging out the heel, but she taught me how to fold them completely. Story 60. Options trading. We built our nest egg from regular contributions while working our office jobs, but we gained the confidence to quit our jobs because of trading. Now we raise our children at home as full-time parents. Story 61. When scraping off a cutting board, use the backside of the knife. I love cooking and keeping my knives sharp. I just never thought to do that myself. Story 62. They have taught me that they are only as faithful as their options. I was not their first choice and basically they lie a lot. Not that I have been damaged or anything. Haha. Story 63. If you urinate, press your perineum afterward. It will help eliminate most, if not all, of the last drop. Story 64. Cooking. Before meeting my wife, I felt hopeless. Now I enjoy baking and sharing my dishes with friends. Story 65. I'm a woman and I know you're not asking us, but I taught my boyfriend how to cook the eggs last when making breakfast so they are not ice cold by the time everything else is done cooking. He used to cook them first for some reason, and it would drive me crazy. Story 66. To cook better, enjoy life, and not take things so seriously. I also realized that I never folded the towels correctly. Story 67. Many partners have always loved my hair, and because of that, they taught me how to take care of it. As a result, I now buy the best products available and use them for maintenance. I am truly grateful. My hair is long and curly, and I have always thanked them for their advice. Story 68. A bit silly, but I always wipe myself off after a bath or shower. Towels now last twice as long before needing to be washed. 15 years later, I still do it every day. Story 69. Making good food can be a rewarding experience. Once, when I cooked breakfast for her and she tried my eggs, she called them rubber-like. I didn't understand until she showed me how to cook them correctly. Story 70. Pretend to be ineffective at tasks so your detail-oriented partner will handle them instead. It's quite clever. Personally, I prefer doing my own tasks as well as helping others. Otherwise, I would consider trying it. Story 71. To buy nice clothes and enhance my style, I feel more confident in my clothing and dressing sense. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.